Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of our podcast series, Communication Skills in the Field of Law. Today we have Pravalini Tiwari as our special guest. Pravalini ma'am is a legal practitioner and alternative dispute resolution trainer, legal awareness speaker, and subject matter expert with a diverse set of experience across organizations. Ma'am has completed her graduation in law from prestigious Nirma University, Ahmedabad. Ma'am is also a public speaker and brings in awareness to the society on environmental issues, human rights, and mental health through various social media platforms. Ma'am, we are so honored to have you on this podcast and thank you for sharing time for us. Ma'am, since you are working in social work field, how has been your experience so far and how it is going on in the pandemic?
It has been, it has always been actually, if I see at my own level, I always have fun. I have no clue of what impact it makes. But it's always satisfying. There's no doubt of it. And with pandemic, it has made me realize that we actually teach through our own journeys. Someone said me this before, but I think the pandemic has become all the more reason for all of us to influence each other in positive aspect, because we all have our own journeys that we are living through this pandemic, and that is all the more reason why we need to serve and connect to ourselves and share our stories.
Ma'am, I want to ask, do you think English language acts as a barrier in communication to the students who are from less privileged sections or who are from tier 2 cities or rural areas?
I am pretty much from a tier 3 city, okay? And my father is very highly educated, but throughout Hindi. But yes, English does act as a barrier for me. Luckily, my mother was throughout English convent and she pushed, and so I was pretty much into debating and everything from class third when I was like 7 years old, 8 years old maybe. But yes, see, English, we need to understand one thing around any language. Language is just a medium of communication. At the end of the day, it's your thoughts that matter. If you have useless thoughts and ideas, the language doesn't matter. Whichever language you speak in, right? And if you have good ideas, only then language matter. But if you have good ideas, but you don't have the language, and let's say I find a great person, I was really good friends with them. It recently happened while I was traveling to Varna. I made a really good friend, and he knew nothing but Kannada. Hardly few broken sentences of English. So irrespective of how good a guy is, how good their thoughts are or intention are, it becomes pretty useless. So similarly, English is a language which takes you places. It takes you internationally everywhere. It takes you nationally to places. So yes, it matters in every career after a point of time. It does.
So my next question stems from what you said, that English takes you places but still acts as a barrier. So you being a law student yourself, you most probably would have participated in various debating ADR and voting competitions. So could you tell us how much significance does English itself hold in these competitions? Like, does the skills like logical or argumentatives are trumped by the English speaking skills?
They do. See, what I feel like, we're not supposed to give English more advantage or more importance than it actually deserves. English deserves some advantage. Like it's a medium, as I said again. Okay? So it's about your research skills. It's about your logical skills, irrespective of how nouns you are saying and how good vocab you have. In fact, for those of you who have been my student, you would have hardly seen me using good vocab. Like I don't have a great hi-fi vocab. I don't at all. I just have simple words and I use them for my advantage. That's it. So it's not just about English. And to a certain extent, I have seen students who came from rural areas in Bihar and who did not have very good polished English. They also made, one of my moot partners when I went to Endless Bangalore Arbitration Investment Moot, he was from Bihar. And so the thing is, his ideas were awesome. His logical reasoning and connecting points were good. But when he spoke English, it was not fluent enough and making the points connecting enough. So he was not a mooter, he was a researcher. He could take place of a mooter, but we couldn't risk that at NLS Bangalore level. It's that simple. And it's not like he did not debate or speak or do anything else in the college. He did, and he did that pretty well. It's just that when it comes to national level or when it comes to college level, it's more about your own confidence. You yourself don't feel confident enough if you are not good with the language. So,
just to follow up on that, you talked about the usage of big words, like you don't use big words, but don't you think like someone who is not that well versed in English and he or she goes to that competition and he sees his opponents using such big words like flabbergasted and all, so don't you think like this sort of intimidates them, like uh, it opens the gateway to a
it
whole
does.
new world?
It definitely does. It definitely does. As I'm saying, English does not have a substitute. I'm not trying to play down English here. It does not have a substitute. You might not be very good at using the words, like I'm not very good at using the words, but I understand them all. It's not like from the context of it, from the statement of it, and at least it's like sometimes you don't know the game, but you know the people, right? So for me, that is what I did most of the time. If I am at a very big competition where all the people against me are from some, let's say, very good colleges or have done a lot of internships in firms and I haven't done any internship, I learned how to play them. Like, catch on when they are trying to throw in big words. Just that, like a little bit offended and you get off your game. Because at the end, it is about catching their thought. So they might use a word or two which I might not understand in the like particular situation, but I have brains to understand the whole point that they are trying to make, and that's how I always make do. Most of the words which I don't speak, I understand. Of course, legal language is always tough, so you understand the required words, you understand the legal words. I understand all the legal words. बट येस, अब कोई बहुत ही अच्छी शशि थरूर लेवल की इंग्लिश बोलेगा तो शायद मुझे सारे शब्द नहीं समझ में आएंगे, पर उनके पॉइंट समझ में आ जाएंगे. एंड वन मोर थिंग, अगर कोई लिटरली शशि थरूर लेवल की इंग्लिश बोलेगा ना, तो इन प्लेसेस लाइक मूथ्स एंड डिबेट इवन द जजेस आरंट वेरी इम्प्रेस्ड, बिकॉज वो भी वहां पे नॉर्मली लोग बैठते हैं एंड दे वुड प्रेफर दैट यू स्पीक इन इंग्लिश, इन अ गुड इंग्लिश, but in words they understand, not in words they don't understand and feel like you are showing off and then things like that. You can definitely not work without English, but you can make do with a reasonably good English. You don't need to have like some great English.
Thanks, ma'am. Makes sense.
Yeah, given that we have discussed the importance of English, ma'am, so and also given the time that we are in the pandemic and it's been more than a year now, and all the education mode has shifted to online education. So there's this one observation we see that whenever professors ask any questions to people, they make excuses that their mic is not working or they have internet issues at their end. However, at times it's not the actual case. Like we see that people are trying to avoid that particular situation. So like what responsibility do you think the teachers have to make the class engaging? Definitely, like it's a problem if there's no engagement between the teacher and the student. It's definitely a problem. So, and it needs to be corrected, whether it be from the students and or the teacher side. So what are your comments on that?
I think this is very true. As you said, it's a very big problem because बहुत आसानी से दिख रहा है how when we talk about actually taking exams offline, everyone is like no. Why? Because they are now used to like learning online. That means not learning. Giving exams online, that means pretty much not giving the exams, right? And it's pretty much both sides. It's not like बच्चों की गलती है. कौन टीचर चाहता है ऑफलाइन एग्जाम दिलवाना? पेपर चेक करना पड़ेगा and all the dramas, even they don't want to risk and go like expose themselves to COVID and all. So on entire education system right now, people are just not caring enough online exams, क्योंकि पता है एग्जाम ऑनलाइन होना है तो पढ़ के क्या करना है. And this I think actually shows a bigger problem in our entire education system because we are all studying for the point of view of marks. We are not studying for the point of view of, because when we take coaching institutes, like तुम अगर क्लैट की कोचिंग कर रहे हो, जुडिशरी की कोचिंग कर रहे हो, their students aren't doing this. They know they can't afford to. उनको पता है वो लोग चीटिंग करके एग्जाम्स नहीं निकाल पाएंगे, राइट? जिन बच्चों को जुडिशरी के एग्जाम्स देने हैं वो ऐसा नहीं कर रहे हैं. So I think this actually, as you said, कि yes, teachers have responsibility to make classes more engaging. Students have responsibility to be honest and really grown up now. You can't always be foolish around. Because हम लोग हमेशा कहते हैं कि we need our freedom, we need our individuality, हमको हमारी privacy चाहिए, हमको हमारा decision making चाहिए. You have to act so that you are considered responsible to be given that decision making power, right? So students have to act responsible. They have to understand that nobody cares. You have to care, otherwise good to go, fine. You also don't care, suffer the consequences, no problem. And at the same time, teachers need to understand that it's not बच्चे जिनकी अटकी हुई है कि उनको पढ़ना है, because if I don't adapt with time, I think pandemic has been the biggest lesson for all of us to adapt. And if teachers don't adapt, they are soon gonna run out of market. They will not be valuable. You can't sustain change in time if you are not valuable. You have to be continuously valuable. So you won't be valuable if you're not making classes engaging. Same applies to students. If you're not adapting to this new system where there are not students around you to make and laugh and be, in that fun environment, tabhi padhai karunga. You have to now learn things just for the sake of learning without any external entertainment like friends. And for both teachers and students, if you don't realize this as soon as possible and don't adapt with time, it's your loss. You will not be valuable to the changing market.
Yeah, right, ma'am. Just a small follow-up, like since you have even experienced those years of law schools and you as a teacher, you would have experienced this as well. Like we see that the students who are proficient in English ask a lot of doubts in the class. However, there are a few students who are a bit doubtful about their language skills and so they are a bit reserved and they do not tend to ask that many questions. So like what role do you think a teacher can play in such a situation?
I think for a teacher, it's very important to be bilingual in that case. And see, I don't think there's a very big reason, like for students not asking doubt. Language can be 20% reason, but the 80% of students asking doubt are the extroverts. It has nothing to do with the language. The extroverts who are not good with English find the courage and find it in them कि हाँ ठीक है English नहीं आती तो क्या, right? And it's about your confidence. As I said before, it's about your confidence. There are certain places you can't speak Hindi in, but I don't think a classroom is one unless your teacher is someone who doesn't know Hindi. But yes, for the teacher, it is important that they crack jokes in Hindi, they take their class bilingual, so the students don't get the feeling that, this teacher is not approachable in Hindi language. And it's a general thing, like a teacher should always come as approachable, should come as strict with certain ground rules कि हर प्रकार के डाउट की एक जगह है. तुमको मुझसे पर्सनल डाउट करने हैं तो मेरे केबिन में आओ. तुमको क्लास से जो टॉपिक चल रहा है उससे रिलेटेड डाउट करने हैं, मेरी बात कंप्लीट हो जाने दो, फिर हाथ उठाना. But you have to come out as approachable. You can't come out as only strict. It has to be a balance between approachable in any language, and strict, of course.
Yeah. So I'm taking the discussion to more of a corporate job perspective. So do you think the recruiters prefer the extracurriculars which involve language skills more over the ones which do not involve language or communication skills?
For lawyers?
For job.
Yeah, for legal jobs?
Yeah.
What extracurriculars are you planning to do in college which does not involve communication?
Like sports activities, music, dance?
No, they don't care.
Like just in case, yes, sorry to cut you off now.
Very honestly, these things are good to have. I'm not saying that they are not. It kind of shows your personality, like you have an overall right personality, but you have to understand that irrespective of what you choose to do after a legal career, you have to be good with communication skills. See, there's a thing, understand, when I'm saying communication skills here, I don't mean just the speaking skills. There are 4 communication skills, right? Reading, listening, writing, and speaking. You could be good with any part of them and design your job accordingly. If you're really good with just reading, writing, and not with the speaking part, you can go into a company where most of your work would be drafting related, right? If you can speak, but you're not very extrovert and who doesn't like to speak a lot, you can go for something like judiciary. If you are really into speaking, then you can go and litigate or something like that. You can figure out what kind of job you want to choose according to the communication skills you have. But at every stage, being a lawyer, your communication skills is what is going to be tested, right? And even if you choose to go for judiciary, at the interview level, they will at least check you on your basic communication skills. मतलब भले तुमको अंदर जाके काम बहुत ज्यादा बोलने का नहीं करना होगा, But at the entry level, they'll check a basic, are you able to express your ideas? Are you able to exactly sort? That is another thing that I'll say. We always complicate. Now, this is something I'm saying not relevant to your question actually. But since we are discussing on communication skills, if you know basic English and you have basic confidence, I'm talking very basic. Communicating your ideas in English is not hard. It's hard because you are not sorted in your head. If you're very sorted in your head कि मुझको पहले ये बोलना है, फिर मुझको ये बोलना है और इसको इससे कनेक्ट करना है, you'll start bad if your English is not good, but you'll eventually reach where you need to be. Like you'll make do. But yes, to answer your question, you will have to have some communication skills, extracurricular activities to show to a recruiter.
So people say that law school changes you as a person. One creates a whole different personality over the course of 5 years. So what does role communication play when it comes to the change of personality?
Okay, see, I think every college changes you. College life always changes you. Okay? Because that is the first time you're pretty much on your own. That is the first time you're trying to make your own decisions and do all the mistakes and everything. But yes, I think law school does kind of more to that. If college changes you, law school changes you a lot. Like in compared to any other college, I'll say law school changes you more. One reason is because law school does not have a fixed future. Doctor has a fixed future. They are going to work in hospital clinic. It's not like maybe they'll go in teaching, but that's not really anyone's first preference, right? Engineers also have a particular कि हाँ हमको recruitment में बैठना है. That's not how law works, right? We explore ourselves. We go for different competitions. We go for different type of internships, NGO internships, Supreme Court, High Court, law firms, then MNCs, then bank. We do a lot of variety of stuff, right? Clerkship and everything. And then we decide for ourselves that what is it that we want to pursue. So yes, law school changes you even more. And what is the role of communication skills? I think it's very important. And I won't say language barrier exists here on this stage, because for that experience of law school, your communication skills matter for the networking purpose, for exploring yourself purpose, for going out, reaching out to people, finding internships, being a part of different committees, associating yourself with different colleges for doing things. And you can't do all these things if you're not an extrovert, or if you're not really a person who can communicate well. So yes, when it comes to law school, it changes you a lot because it helps you explore yourself. It helps you sort your life out, and you need to have good communication skills for that. Unless you are already predetermined कि हाँ मेरे को college से निकलते ही judge बनना है. If you're that predetermined, then law school won't really change you as much. But if you're not that predetermined and you are exploring everything and being all over the place, then you will need communication skills.
I'm also keeping language aside for some time. Communication also involves somewhat aspects of socializing. So
yeah,
a person who is an introvert,
right,
what all tips would you like to give him as to how he can socialize more? Because language is not the only thing that restrains a person from developing his communication skills, right? Like you said that extroverts are the person 80% of the people who ask questions in the classes, rather or not they know the language or not. So how to solve these kinds of problems for introverts? I'm introvert myself, so yeah.
So in the field of legal, especially in the field of legal and politics, we always think that it is the extroverts field. I don't really completely agree to it. I think extroverts are the people who really easily are shown on it, but there's a lot for introverts to do, because introverts are actually far more productive. Being an extrovert myself, मैं इतना काम करूंगी, बाकी मेरी energy उसको बताने में extrovert होने में जाती है. Introverts, like my brother, when they are at it, they have a lot of time to sit and think with themselves, and they have a lot of energy in them because they are not spending that much energy. I'm spending a lot of energy. So according to me, being an introvert, you can do things which are writing related. And luckily for you, we are living in this internet era. So you can connect to people online. that would be easier for you rather than going out and connecting. And if you're not into actually connecting with people online also, best you can do is actually go for the jobs which are more office based, not field based, and more writing based, reading writing based rather than speaking listening based. So go for publications as much as you can. Do blog writing for companies. You can start legal researching on freelance level and know your area कि मुझको IPR पसंद है कि family law पसंद है, and then which of the companies has the a lot of desk work and things like that. You can pick up some field. Like I haven't honestly researched on that because that was never my area. Or like judiciary, that is also pretty much something for an introvert to do.
But you were saying about researching and blogging, don't you think like the extent of my scope becomes a lot narrower? Like if I don't socialize, because law is a field which is like I can say that it's all about connections you have with other people, right? So is it preferable to write blogs and all, only restrain oneself to blogs and research?
Sorry. All I'm saying that because it sounds like you don't want to come out of your comfort zone and you're finding a job profile in being introvert only. So yes, definitely it restricts you. Obviously it does. But if you're planning to stay introvert, what option do you have? See, either you have to be open to being thoda sa flexible. You won't have to be a lot flexible. Like you won't have to go to the extent of where you are really sharing your personal life with people. But you will have to be flexible to the extent where you can do small talks with people. Like you go for a mood. For example, if you're an introvert, you want to go for a mood. Go for a mood and starting few moods, be a researcher. 1 mood, 2 mood, be a researcher. And when there are parties or night dinners, like if it's a 3 or 4 days event, you guys, everyone, like all the students from all the colleges have dinner together. So you can do small talk with random people. You need to learn to talk on topics which are not personal to you, because introverts don't usually like that. So you can talk on topics which don't really matter to you. You can start there, and maybe after 2-3 moods, you can warm up and you can start debating or something like that.
So ma'am, I think this was the last question of our podcast. That brings us to the end of this show. Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this enlightening and thoughtful conversation as much as we did. Would you like to make any concluding remarks, ma'am?
Talking on the language thing, I would like to say, first of all, it was really, really good to be a part of this and catching up with you guys again. I hope you guys are doing well. It's been a long time I took classes with you guys. But yeah, commenting on the language thing, I won't say it doesn't matter, it does, but it's not even a thing, like a minor thing which will hold you back. You really have bigger things to worry about. And it should not something be given away. Like we should not be thinking about finding a solution on how we can engage Hindi, because अगर college level पे problem solve भी कर दी हमने कि चलो separate mood हिंदी में हो रहे हैं या debate हिंदी में हो रहे हैं, if somehow we try to consider those kids कि CLAT हिंदी में कराने लगे, they won't last in long run. After a point of time, their career needs English. So जितनी जल्दी सीख ले उतना अच्छा रहेगा. And it's more about your confidence. It's just a language. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter in long run. It's hardly a 2 months effort. Nothing else.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sparing your time for us.
Thank you.